I can mute the video, audio and all. Yes. So good morning, friends. Myself Chaitanya, and today I'm going to talk about Indian Space Research Organization. And title of our session is Launch Yourself into ISRO. So as the title indicates, I'm going to launch. I will try to launch all of you into ISRO by giving some insight into what is ISRO and what it does, and how you can enter into ISRO, and what are the various opportunities you are having ISRO. So let us start our session by introducing myself. Let me introduce myself. So I have graduated from RGUKT Nujividu in Electronics and Communication Engineering in 2015, and in the same year, in campus placements, I was selected for Electronic Systems Private Limited, and you can see here these are my gate ranks. In 2014, I got 1562, and in 2015, 1260, and 2016, 606, and in 2017, 147. This is my best rank. So all through the years, actually, my main goal was to do MTech in like one of the good IITs, like four or five IITs I have selected, and I have selected my branch. So I was just trying to get into get into those IITs for MTech. But in 2017, I got rank also, and I was selected for ISRO also. I have done some background work that I will discuss later. So after that, I have decided to go for ISRO. And here you can see in 2016, I have attended BARC interview. BARC means Baba Atomic Research Center. So why I am specifically mentioning this is the toughest interview you will face. If you are a technical person, if you are going for technical things, this is the toughest interview. The interview duration will be around 1 hour to 1.5 hour. It will be there. So, and yeah, I could not crack this anyway, but I can proudly say that two of our batchmates, one is from mechanical and one is from MME, could crack this, and they are working there for the last 4 years. Then I have been working in ISRO from 2017 onwards in URSC, means URO Satellite Center in Bangalore. So we make in Bangalore, we will make satellites here. So let us start by giving you like small introduction into ISRO. So you can see here, generally people will think that ISRO means Sriharikota, because so many, like all our launches happens from Sriharikota, right? So media and all, everything will be focusing on Sriharikota. So this is our launch base actually. So from where we will launch our satellites. But you can see here, all over the India, ISRO is distributed, and each center is specific. It is having its own priority. They are having defined work, and they are working for ISRO. So you can see all over India, they are located. You can see in Tirunanthapuram. So this is where Vikram Sarabhai Space Center is located. So when you see in the like if you watch TV and the launch time and all, so you will see a rocket, right? So all the rockets are made in Tirunanthapuram, VSSC, and there we are having one more center in Bangalore. That's where I'm working. So URO Satellite Center. So this is where we will make the satellites. Like once the satellite is injected into, once the satellite is flown, then like once the rocket is flown, from there one satellite has to come out, right? So that satellites we are making in Bangalore, and there will be an extensive test because space conditions we have to simulate on the ground, right? So all kind of tests we will be doing in Bangalore. Then each satellite we are launching for specific purpose. Means each will be having some specific applications. So we have Space Application Center in Ahmedabad where all the payloads are made. So once the payloads are made, they will come to Bangalore. We will integrate here. Then we will transfer the satellite to Sriharikota. Same way, rocket will come from Tirunanthapuram to Sriharikota. So in Sriharikota, everything we will integrate, and finally launch will happen. So once the launch is happened, once the launch is over, we have to track it properly. We have to continuously monitor it. We have to track it. So that's where our Hassan, and similarly Bhopal and Bangalore. In Bangalore also we have ISTRAC, Bailalu. So many tracking centers are there. So their job is to track the satellite when it is in the orbit and when it is going into the orbit also. So and we are also having semiconductor laboratory in Chandigarh, which is world-class laboratory. Then you can see here in Hyderabad, we are having NRSC, means National Remote Sensing Center. So once the satellite is into the orbit, it will give us some data, right? So it will collect the data and it will process the data, and it will analyze the data and all. Then in Tirupati also we are having one National Atmospheric Research Laboratory. So it basically does the atmospheric research. So I just want to tell you that all over the India, ISRO centers are there, and each is having its own role in doing that. And you can see here, like our headquarters, like unlike all other organizations, ISRO headquarters is in Bangalore. Okay, so you can always search in internet that what is each location does and everything. So based on that, like after this introduction, I'm going into the next slide. Like as like a satellite person, I will try to, I don't worry, I'm not going to tell you any technical details, but what I want to tell is who are all the branches having the opportunities in the ISRO. So first of all, satellite making is a multidisciplinary domain. So multidisciplinary domain means here you will be, all branches is having are having opportunities. So you can see here, for making a satellite, you should have mechanisms, you should have a structure, and then you will be having thermal control. So this is where our mechanical engineers come into picture. So all mechanical engineers will fit in this area. uh, you keep in mind that I'm trying to explain based on satellites, because I'm a satellite person. And similarly, launch vehicle is there, there also you are having opportunities and all. And then their next thing is power systems and telemetry, telecommand and RF, and telemetry, telecommand, baseband systems and sensors. So this is where our electronics and communication engineers will come into picture. And then you should have a guidance, right? Whenever satellite is launched, it should have some guidelines where we have to tell the satellite that yes, you have to do this job properly, and you have to go into this orbit, you have to orient like this. So this is where our computer science engineers will come into picture. They're here, altitude orbit control software will be there and systems will be there. And then as I'm telling, it is a multidisciplinary domain. So here you can see inertial systems, propulsion systems, composites, integration and checkout, mission, payload. So these are the areas where all engineers will fit. Like if you see composites, mechanical and material science people will be there. Similarly, if you see in propulsion, here also mechanical engineers and chemical engineers will be there. So basically, what I'm trying to tell is in ISRO, all kind of engineers are having opportunities. And then you can see here internships. So friends, like all other organizations, ISRO also offers internships for the third year. Whoever third year, whoever pursuing third year, after that we will be going for internship, right, for 2 months. So the same way you can also apply for ISRO in all centers. You can apply and you can go for 2 months and you can do your project for 2 months and you can come back. So I can tell you that ISRO is having, like, you can in those 2 months you will see a different world, because this is completely different domain. So you can have internship opportunities so that you can have basic idea in what is ISRO is doing and all. So you can apply for internships. So take this opportunity also. And then having said that, I just thought of, okay, motivating you people, like how do I plan? So this plan is not only for ISRO, for anything like a GATE, CAT, for anything. How do I plan? So generally, job means any job, not which will fetch you money and all. So any job, first what you have to do, you have to aim for it. Okay, then you have to dream it, like I want to achieve that. So you should dream for that, and then you have to plan for it. So dreaming is not sufficient. You have to plan, like how what are the things I'm going to do, and what are the what if you want to achieve your aim, what you have to do. So after that, you have to execute the plan. So whatever you have planned, you have to execute. And then the most important thing is you should have belief in yourself, friends. So whenever you believe, and some things after doing this much also you may not get the result you want. So you go back to your aim, you go back to your dream, plan properly, and execute again, and just believe in yourself. So if you do all these things, generally people will say sky is the limit. But I would say in our ISRO terms, is the sky is the limit? No, not anymore, right? So I hope now let us go into the next slide. Like, how can I join ISRO? The next question is, how can I join? What are the possible ways to join into ISRO? The first possible way is after PUC. PUC is for us, it is pre-university course, and for the outsiders, maybe 11th and 12th. So once you finish this pre-university course, this option is not known to many people. So I just want to tell you that maybe you can guide your siblings or our juniors who are in intermediate first year and second year. So if you appear for JEE mains, after that, if you appear for JEE advanced, then you will get into admission into IIST. IIST is Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. So once you, this is specifically designed for ISRO, like it is located in VSSC, it is located in Tirunanthapuram, basically in Kerala. So once you get into IIST, just you have to, what you have to do is you have to get like BTech degree with some specified CGPA. That's it. You will be in ISRO. Like this is not an interview. Also, this is just a counseling. You will have a counseling. The CGPA also you will be having some 6.5 to 7. So once you cross that CGPA, you will directly into ISRO as a engineer or scientist SC. Okay. And the second possible way is once the JEE advance is completed, you can join into any IITs. Like nowadays, from last 2 years, ISRO is going for campus placements also for the new IITs and all. It went already. So this is also one more possible way to get into ISRO. And the third one, which is most applicable to us, is this one. Like once you get your admission into any engineering college, or we will complete our BTech from our college. So once BTech is completed, then you can like ICRB exam will be there. It is a ISRO centralized recruitment board. It will be conducting some exam. First written test will be there. Once written test is completed, you can attend ISRO interview. Then you will be in ISRO as scientist or engineer SC. So you can see here after completing MTech also, you can give exam and interview, you can come back. So please note that, note one thing here. Whenever you are joining as an engineer or engineer SC or scientist, you will be like, after 4 years, you will be promoted to ST. But if you do MTech, if you are coming, there are two possible ways. One is BTech based recruitment, one is MTech based recruitment. So if you come by BTech based recruitment, definitely there won't be any consideration for your MTech. So after 4 years only, you will be having promotion. But you are a MTech candidate, but if you are coming by a MTech based recruitment, they are going to consider your MTech also, friends. So 2 years you will be benefiting. So after 2 years only, you will be promoted to the next level. So please keep mind in this, because many people have seen here, like they are not knowing about this fact, and they are unnecessarily they are losing 2 years. 2 years is not a small thing, right? So now going forward, I will concentrate on this path through exam, and how the exam will be, and what is the how interview will be, so that this is you will be having some clear idea, and this is the most applicable path for us. So the next thing is ICRB exam. So as I said, that ISRO centralized recruitment board, every year it releases notifications. And what is the pattern? You can see like 80 questions will be there. 80 questions, and each question carries 3 marks. So total 240 marks. And if you answer wrongly, 1 mark will be deducted. So, and this is completely offline exam. This is completely offline exam, and it is having 90, like time limit is 90 minutes. So you can say 80 questions and 90 minutes, and 240 marks is the total duration. And what you have to do is basically, first of all, you have to see the ISRO previous papers. Once you see the ISRO previous papers, you will get an idea like how the exam will be, so that you can target on those subjects, because this is very important. And let us say GATE and IS aspirants also, everybody, yes, you can write ISRO exam, but you also should see the previous papers of ISRO, because ISRO concentrates on different subjects. Like not only regular subjects will be there, not only that, they will concentrate on some other 1 or 2 subjects extra, and those are easy subjects also. So if you get an idea and if you target those subjects, it will be better for you, so that you can easily clear the written test. The third point is, remember this, guys, friends, no weightage for interview. Like whatever marks you will get in ISRO, like written test, that won't be counted for the interview. So you have to be very careful with negative marks. So let me tell you, like I have written ISRO twice. In 2015, first time I wrote, and second time in 2016. Okay, when I wrote in 2015, what happened is, positively I scored around 140 plus marks, but there are negative marks. So negative marks were also there. So finally, my net score was 117. Okay, but the cutoff for the ISRO cutoff for the interview was only 118. So I lost interview call by 1 mark. So see, you can see that if I answered the one question correctly, or if I not answered, I would have been selected for in 2015 itself. So you have to be very careful with negative marks. So in 2016, second time when I written this ISRO exam, that time I was aware, yes, these marks are not considered for the interview. So I have to be careful, precise, and we are having some knowledge about cutoff also, like around, it will be around 120, something like that. So what I did is, just I have attended for only 138 marks. Like I got 138 positively, and only 1 negative mark I got. So final my score was 137 in the second attempt, and cutoff was around 121, I think. Okay, so that's what you have to be careful with the negative marks also. And the third one, like fourth point, is the time management. You can see here only 90 minutes are allowed for 80 questions. So you have to practice before exam, and speed and accuracy should be there. Like in our college, how it will be, I know, just we will just tick it, right? So it is not like this. So whatever this guy how he's writing, you have to bubble it in a bubble sheet, like you have to bubble each question and also. So you have to practice that. Then only this can be possible. Sometimes you have to be smart in selecting questions also, because these 80 questions, some questions might be lengthy, some questions might be easier. So you have to select accordingly, so that in the 90 minutes you will score as much as possible. So if you see the 2021 exam was there for ISRO. Recently results also came in, I think, in April and all. So if you see that 2020 paper, the questions are lengthy, friends. It's not like remaining papers. So previous year's papers, all papers, if you get some 130, 140, yes, you are sure you will be selected. But this year 2020 paper is a little bit tough. Questions are all questions are lengthy, and can you imagine the cutoff? Cutoff was only 72 more. So what happened is, like, people may be thinking like questions are tough, no? So what you have to do is, yes, you have to select few questions, you have to answer it, and you could assess the exam. So that's where, if you see the ISRO previous papers, you will come to know that yes, this year paper is tough, so I have to be careful. Only few questions I will answer, whatever, and yes, you will be having an idea about the paper. So next, let us say now you have cleared the ISRO exam. The next thing is interview. So once you are selected for interview, there will be so many questions in your mind, like what are the subjects I need to concentrate, and up to what level, up to what extent I have to study. There will be so many questions, and the answer for all the questions is just go back to your basics, because the interviewer who like the interview or whatever be the organization, they are interviewing you to take you, friends. They are not interviewing to reject you. So keep that in mind. So they are going to, whatever the half an hour, maximum they will interview, right? So in that half an hour, they are not going to expect you from you. They are not going to expect like big designs and all. What they will expect is basics. And if a problem is given, how you are approaching it. So that's what they will expect from you. So you have to be clear in your basics. And particularly for ISRO, you have to select some 6 subjects. So ISRO is going to ask you like either they will ask your subject, like favorite subjects. You write your favorite subject. They will ask you questions from that. It will be like that. So when you are going for ISRO interview in your respective domains, you complete some 6 subjects. Okay, and then you have to prepare for 6 subjects. That's what I'm telling. And the project work. If you are a BTech person, if you are going after BTech, you have to prepare for your BTech project. Similarly, if you are going after MTech for the interview, so you have to prepare for your MTech project also. And then if you're an MTech person, you should have basic knowledge over MTech specialization, because they are going to ask MTech questions also, whatever you have done. And then previous work profile. Let us say after your BTech, you have worked for some 1 or 2 years. Then after that, if you are going for the interview, what work you have done, you should have proper idea. So you have to plan for it. So let me explain you my interview experience, so that you will get basic idea how it will be. Okay. So coming to me, as I told you, 2015 I have completed my BTech, and in 2016 I have written the interview. 2016 I have written exam, and 2017 January I have attended for interview. So there is a 2 years gap in my profile. So definitely in those 2 years I have not done any job, and I have not done MTech also. I was preparing for GATE and IAS. So what I have to be careful is, I have to prepare few subjects. What are the subjects my knowledge, my domain subjects I have to prepare, and I have to be careful with BTech project. And the third thing, what I have to plan is uh, what I have done in these 2 years. So these are the 3 questions I should be addressing, because they are going to ask. So what happened is, I was a little bit nervous, like around 10. It was around morning 10:30. So 10:30, as soon as I opened the door, I just saw that there are 14 people actually, including the chairman. There are 14 people. They are sitting in a big electrical conference hall. So as soon as I entered, I was not expecting those many people. They are going to interview. So once I opened that, I was a little bit nervous. So I just went inside and I told, "Good evening, sir." Actually, it was morning 10:30. But I don't know what I was telling also. So I told, "Good evening, sir." Then the chairman just laughed and he told, "Okay, Chaitanya, please sit." Then I sat here, and chairman had observed that yes, I'm a little bit in nervous condition. So what he told is, "Okay, Chaitanya, tell me about yourself first." So just I started, "Sir, I'm this, so and so I was doing like." Then he asked me, "Sir, 2015 you have completed your BTech as expected. Like I have prepared for this. In 15 you have completed. In 2017 you are coming for interview. What were doing in these 2 years?" And then my answer was like, sir, I have been preparing for GATE only. I told her GATE, and I was trying for MTech in IITs and all. Then the next question, what he asked is, if you are trying for IITs for MTech, then why are you coming for ISRO interview? And this is where I have done my groundwork. That but I have done that my groundwork that ISRO is already having a sponsored candidate, like sponsorship scheme. Means after joining ISRO also, you can go for higher education. So that scheme ISRO is having. So I have already done my like basic understanding of like what is ISRO and all. I have done my research thing, so I could answer the question, sir. Actually, in ISRO also we are having sponsorship candidates, so I just want to join in ISRO. After that, through that also I can join in MTech, so I don't have any issue. Then he told, yes, yes, it is having. So once you clear the interview, we will talk about that later. Like that he told. Then I told, okay, sir. Then what he told is, the next question what he asked is, okay, Chaitanya, are you comfortable now? So you can see in this process, guys, they are trying to make me comfortable, because initially I was not comfortable. So once they made me comfortable, then they asked me, okay, Chaitanya, you write your favorite subjects, 4 favorite subjects they asked me. So I'm an electronics person, I have written communications, signals and system, electromagnetic theory, and analog electronics. So the next question came is, see, people might be knowing, for any analog electronics subject, you like the basic subject is semiconductor device or electronic device and circuits. So the next question what they asked is, if you are telling analog electronics, why you have not chosen the EDC? Because there is the basics for that. Then I told, sir, yes, sir, I have, in the preparation of analog electronics, I have already prepared for semiconductor device also. So if you want, you can ask the question. So this is where the 6 subjects is coming. That's what I'm telling. You should have backup subjects with you. So if you are telling them 4 subjects or 5 subjects, you should have some 2 more subjects as a backup, depending upon the time you have to prepare. Okay. So then the technical discussion has started. So then this interview duration is for 20 to 25 minutes generally. So in 20 to 25 minutes, they will be asking questions and you will be answering. And like out of 10 people, you can expect some 6 people, no, they are going to ask project work also in BTech what we have done, but they have not asked me any project work. So only those 4 subjects which I have mentioned, they have went deep into it. And there will be a board also. If you want to explain in board also, you can explain everything, whatever you want. And they are very friendly, really speaking. Because as I said, initially I was like many people, I was a little bit nervous, but after that they interacted, they became friendly, and they were asking me questions I could answer. And I will tell you that uh, I was telling you, right, like there won't be any weightage for written test for the interview. So in written test, I told you 137 marks I got. So this corresponds to almost all India rank they have given, 357 rank they have given. Then after interview, I was in 25th rank. So in interview, out of 100, I could score 85 marks, and they have given the ranking purely based on interview performance only. So this is what I was trying to tell. So there is no weightage for written test. So only what you have to do is you have to concentrate. Just you have to you have to cross the cutoff marks in the written test. Then you have to purely concentrate on the interview. Then yeah, now you have selected for ISRO. The next question is working in ISRO, like how it will be generally. I will just try to tell you how it will be in working in ISRO. So as soon as you enter into ISRO, as I told you, this is a completely different world. You won't see these kind of facilities anywhere outside. So they will provide you training. You will be having 3 months training, both classroom training, and then you will be visiting the major ISRO centers. You will be visiting ISRO like Sriharikota, then VSSC and the headquarters, like everywhere you will visit, and what are the facilities are there. You are going to see how they're making the rockets, how they're making, even though let us say for me, if you consider, I'm a satellite person, so they won't be training you only regarding satellites. They will train you first how the launch vehicle is built, then how the launches are going on, how satellites are built, and how we are doing tracking. So in each and every area, they will give you extensive training for 3 months. So that is the one good advantage. So you will be having basic idea about ISRO in that case only. And this is what I was trying to tell previously also. So you are having opportunity for higher studies also. So if you are a BTech person, you can go for MTech. If you are a MTech person, you can go for PhD. So the basic rule is you have to wait for 3 months, 3 years. So this is the after 3 years, you are eligible for going for outside study. Like as I speak now, I have completed my 3 years. So next academic year, I am eligible for for MTech. And where you will be doing MTech? All IITs, all ISC Bangalore, IITs, anywhere. So they will be having sponsored candidates. They will be recruiting sponsored candidates for 2 years of MTech. MTech. So this MTech, like in this MTech, you will be getting complete whatever ISRO sponsors, like whatever ISRO salary, completely you will getting ISRO salary only, not the sponsored by the organization. So once you complete MTech, you have to come back and you have to work for 3 years, minimum 3 years you have to work. That is the bond. If you want to break the bond, you have to pay around 10 lakhs. So you have opportunities for MTech also. They will encourage you to go for MTech also. And similarly for MTech persons, you can go for PhD also. And you can do the coursework, you can come back. And there are possibilities to go higher education for like abroad also you can go. But if you are going for abroad, they are not going to, like, it's like a complete study leave if you are going for abroad. So, but your job will be retained. Once you come back, your job will be retained as is. And then here you will be having exposure to different types of missions. Like there will be interplanetary missions like Chandrayaan 2, then Mars Orbiter mission, Aditya mission, Venus mission. Like for every, like not only that, communication satellite, navigation mission. So each and you won't be limited to one mission. So first of all, they will train you as you will be involved with your seniors, like to make the satellite, how they will do in your domain. So once it is done, you will be assigned to a project manager job. So you will be taking care of your own. So once it is like what I'm telling is, you are not going to work in any one particular kind of mission. Every mission is having its own importance and its own what I call challenges. So you will be working in different types of missions, and parallel to that, you will be having technology development programs. So technology development program is any idea. Like if you come with it's a research kind of thing. Okay. So whatever if you want to do some new thing in research and all, yes, they encourage you to do. So every person will be involving in these two activities. One is mission activities, one more is technology development activities. So yeah, as many organizations you will get here, like self-motivated and passionate colleagues. Like even though ISRO is a government organization, but you won't see here any relaxed persons. So everybody is self-motivated and passionate about their job. And then here in ISRO now you are having excellent review system actually, because it is very much important to have a review system in ISRO kind of, because these are high profile, like too much of money is involved, and that is people's money, right? So experts will be sitting, and if you work honestly and you can grab your opportunities, and you will be having direct interaction with the experts. So here experts means what I'm telling is director level people, chairman level people, and in these review systems, there will be like ex-chairmen, ex-directors. They all be forming a group and they will be reviewing. So what I'm telling is here, there won't be any hierarchy for means. If you work honestly and if you grab your opportunities, if you do work honestly, there is no one, like your boss is not going to interact with them and all. You are the person. If you do the work, so you will be going directly interacting with director level people, chairman level people, and ex-chairmen and all. So let me tell you my experience here also. So I have worked for one of the high profile missions. So I have worked. Then after that, now whenever there is interaction, I was interacted with Kiran Kumar sir. Actually, Kiran Kumar sir is previous chairman, and people will tell that he is the one of the men behind the Mars Orbiter mission. So he made the mission successful. So I got to like interact with him. So it's like you can learn many things by just simply seeing him. Actually, the way he interacts, like he is retired actually, but still he is in the this review system, and he will be interviewing. So he will just how the way he sees the problem, the type of questions he asks, and the way he reviews. No, by just seeing him, you can learn many things. So you can directly, if you work hard now, you can easily go forward. And coming to the types of satellites we are using, the first thing is like communication satellites. Communication satellites means these are for broadcasting and all television services you will be getting. Then the next set of satellites we are having is Earth observation satellites, and then scientific satellites. Scientific satellites are nothing but interplanetary missions and all. And you are having navigation satellites also. We are launching navigation satellites. Then experimental satellites. We are doing some experiments like a Gaganyaan projects and all there. For that, some requirements are there. For that, experimental satellites we are having. And then small satellites. Small satellites means the weight of these satellites are around 500 kg. So these kind of small satellites also we are launching. And the final thing is student satellites. This is I just want to concentrate on these people because student satellites are nothing but nano or pico satellites. So these are for you people. actually. ISRO is concentrating on the students. These student satellites are not made by ISRO actually. These are completely targeted to the universities, like our universities. ISRO is encouraging to uh, build a satellite. Like students can form a group, you can make a satellite and come back to us. Then we will launch the satellite. So that's what ISRO is doing. So I will give you an example. In 2019, 17 year people in our India only, 17 years, they have formed, they are 17 years group of people. They have called students, they have formed a group and they build a satellite. They named after like Dr. Abdul Kalam sir is there. So on his name, they have mainly named it as a Kalam satellite. So the Kalam satellite, the weight of the satellite is only 1.2 kg. Okay, and that is a 10 centimeter cuboid will be there. So they have made that satellite, and ISRO has launched it also in 2019, I think. Yes. So what I'm suggesting is, people, now you are having so much of time, friends. So you can read about how to make a satellite and all. And it is satellite means you don't think that it is so much big and all. So it is just, as I'm telling this, 1.2 kg is the satellite, the weight of the satellite. That is the weight of the nano satellite. And the size, if you see, the 10 centimeter cuboid only. And the payload in that is amateur communication payload, I think. So you can Google it, you will get it. So what I'm telling to tell, just develop a skill to how to build a satellite. And so ISRO is going to encourage you for launching those kind of satellites. And if you have any doubts, you can always come back to me. I will just try to explain. And you can see, with this I'm coming to the end of my lecture. So you can subscribe to the Change Rural India website through this. And if you have any queries, you can ask me now also, and you can always mail me through this mail so that I will reply. Thank you.